Hi, Limit Break Overdrive with a video about the current state of the game in Path of Exile, and also talking about the latest post made by GGG. This video is gonna be covering a lot of problems I have with drafting mostly, as I play SSF and I can't trade, and even with trading you need currencies, so I'm pretty sure people in trade have the same problems, so keep listening, keep watching if you're not SSF, because you might agree with me or disagree or give me point of view I haven't thought about. So let's get started. First of all, crafting, not just getting life and resist, but trying to go for higher tiers or whatnot. Harvest is useful. It was useful. You can get reforged life, physical, crit, and whatnot, but it's still limited because of the rolls, the tier you can get on your gear. And usually, a good idea, anyway, what I do, is using alteration, augmentation, and regal. And then what I would do was use reforge key prefix and reroll my suffixes until I get something useful, somewhat useful, mainly for my weapon because I play melee, and that would give me a good head start. Now, doing that is not worth until you get like a really endgame weapon, because it's pretty expensive now with divine orbs, because divine orbs don't have div cards. I mean, they have one, I've never seen it. It's Sephiroth. You need 7, I think, to get 7 divine orbs. It drops in Palace. We don't have Palace, maybe in Villa or other maps, but I've never seen it, so it's not even worth mentioning. You don't have shards, you don't have a recipe. But Exiles have shards, have recipes, have a bunch of divination cards, so it makes more sense for Exiles to be mainly used. And Divine Orbs can be used to reroll uniques and rares, while Exiles, I mean, nobody was closing his eyes and slamming a piece of gear to get like tier 8 life regen instead of, I don't know, anything else basically. So my point is, divines are used for too many things and they're hard to come by. You can't somewhat target farm them, so in my opinion that sucks. So for that reason, I think we should be getting prefixes or suffixes gonna be changed in one way or another. It doesn't have to be in Harvest. They suggest Eldritch currency. I'm not against that, even though we can use it only on 4 gear set, boots, gloves, helmets, and I'm not sure anymore, but we can't use them everywhere. We cannot use them on like other influence gear like Hunter or Helder, which is a problem mainly for the Eldritch Chaos, because it's just a reroll of suffixes or prefixes, but they assume it would be too powerful. So that could be the beginning of a solution. Could put that on bestiary, but I mean, we need some sort of thing. Or my solution would be put back the divination, the divine orb recipe back into the game, like Vendor 6 link for divine. People would run Valside Area, get corrupted 6 links, or Vendor those that they can't use. They would get divine enough to craft, which would be good, especially for SSF again. I know the game's balanced around trade, but us SSFNDs, we kind of want to craft our gear. If we can't craft, I mean, what are we gonna do? So, and this leads us to harvest crafting. So yeah, quality of life, and they're talking about the crafts that have been removed. I mean, for me, it's mainly prefixes and suffixes gonna be changed, but they butchered, like, it's more likely, I'm pretty sure before it was with lucky modifiers, which is not anymore. I used it this league and I was getting like tier 8 physical when it was working, because sometimes I had like 2 physical mods, attack speed, I would re-roll and I would get like fire damage to attacks. I mean, it's not always working. Didn't have a lot of success with that, so. And we lost the divine from Harvest, like reforged values of your mods, which is a big deal again, because divines are used to divine uniques, divine rares, using meta mods, and we can't get them. So there's a lot of work to do, in my opinion, to make crafting feel good. And yeah, my favorite solution, as I said before, is adding the divine orb recipe back into the game and make tier 4 beasts way more common. I mean, there's a bunch of crafts that need one life force from Oshabi. I spec'd into Arvest, the node that gives you more tier 4 beasts. I saw one, and I've played a bunch. And it didn't drop me anything to fight Oshabi, so oh well. Never mind then, I'm gonna have to find another one and cross my fingers I get the key to fight Oshabi. So in my opinion, this is not dropping enough, especially for reforging influence, because let's say I use a Conqueror Exalted Orb on a Stygian Vice, because I want an Elder Belt. I use whatever Conqueror Exalted Orb I have, it's influenced. Now I need to reroll until I get Elder. It can take me 1 try, it can take me 8, 10, 12 tries. All depends on my RNG, so. Not a fan of the Oshabi Life Force, but the other costs, they balanced, and in my opinion is not too bad. I also want to touch a little bit about the loot, because as everyone probably knows and complain about, loot was awful at League launch. I killed Dravicious in Act 3 with like 4 of my gear. Like, I think it was helmet, boots, armor, and another thing were white, just with crafted resist, because I could not find anything better than that with the socket I needed. That was awful. Of course, they made a few patches, loot became better, and in my opinion it should never have been. You should not go from one of the most rewarding league to like the bottom of the barrel. But it happened. So. And now they kept updating it and giving us more shit. So for that reason, I don't really have trouble sustaining currency anymore, apart from Orb of Scouring. My Scouring orbs, I mean, I keep buying some in town. I Alk Scour my map instead of rerolling because I need Chaos for advantage. And I did some Chaos recipe, which is awful, so yeah. And I do that for Regal now because I crafted a bunch, but that doesn't feel good. It's not fun to do. We shouldn't have to do that, in my opinion, so it still needs improvement. And I had 2 Arc Nemesis shower drop. One of them I tweeted about. I had a bunch of maps with mirror image, and I don't know which one, which made everything double, and I could not pick up all of my maps because the text was out of bounds. I could not see them. When I was done picking up what I could, there were still lights on the ground from my loot filter, so I don't know how many maps, maybe 4 or 5 that I could not pick up. And the other shower drop was from Unique, so I think it was a Kitava touched, but I left most of them on the ground, and I collect Uniques, so if I don't have one I pick it up even if it's trash, and I left most of them on the ground. So I would rather drops to be more consistent than having a massive drop once every new moon, because I mean, I prefer consistency, and sometimes a little spike, that's fine, but it needs to be better. I mean, in the post they're talking specifically about the lake, so let's go about the lake. Rock formations don't allow you to hide from enemy attacks, that's the Pega. You're gonna fix it, so that's good. Beyond is difficult and doesn't loot anything. Flash news, not only in the lake, in maps as well. I've killed a few Beyond bosses, they drop 1 or 2 currency, and the monsters sometimes drop some, like they can drop a tainted scrap. I think they need to drop more than that, or they're rarer, like the Mythic Orb, maybe more. And I say Mythic Orb because I don't remember the other ones, to be fair. It's the only one that comes to mind. Much of the community feedback has been focused on the rewards coming from the lake. Reflecting Mist 50% more common. I get 1 Reflecting Mist per lake all the time. Sometimes I get 2 portal, 2 mirror, but they always give me shit items. This needs to be fixed. I had 1 usable ring, not amazing. It had like plus 76 gold, plus 115 life. but it had minus like 40 of another res, so I used that for a while, but it was not amazing. I know I saw some people getting really good items, but not my case, so I'm more worried about what the mist gives you compared to how common it is. And the past league encounters in the lake don't give rewards. True. Killing a metamorph and getting one rare or getting one, not even the fertile catalyst, but one of the more common. I mean, they've improved that slightly. It still doesn't feel quite good. And if I look at my notes, the items, because it's a pretty important part of the game, the items on the ground, 90% of them I vendor, which is why I don't struggle with currency. The other 10% I either keep to have a base for crafting, or they have some good rolls, so I might try some shit like a jewel I can try to regal or whatnot. And the Atlas bases, I think they're too rare. I must have played like 40, 50 hours on one character, maybe more. I should check. And I have 2 Vermilion rings. I didn't see a single Iolite ring, the one with kills damage. I saw 3 steel rings, I want to say, maybe 4. I got a little bit more of those, so not a lot. So in my opinion, this needs to be buffed as well, but if they buff loot, it's gonna get buffed anyway. And I struggled a whole fucking lot getting a 6-ling this league. I don't know why. Maybe it's just me, maybe you guys too struggle with 6-ling, so let me know down in the comments if this is the case. The only way I found was to farm Chainstat Bind in either pen or cells or dungeon. Turned 2 sets in. Both times I got an evasion base, and as a jog with the armor nodes, I absolutely need an armor base. So I was stuck with a 5-link, a 4-link for a while, then a 5-link, and I found a Geomancer incubator, and it dropped me a Crusader plate. So I finally got a 6-link, but I got it yesterday. Took me a while, a lot of hours played. So I don't know, maybe it's just my RNG, but 6-link, they need to do something about that. Even if they're not craftable or good, make them more common. I farmed a bunch of Valside area, got nothing out of it. And it's not really worth, because before you could do that and say, oh well, if I can't use the 6-link, then at least I get a divine. Not anymore, so not a big fan of the fusing, 20 fusings you get for a 6-link. So yeah, mostly that for loot. Now we're gonna jump on to Arch Nemesis. And my opinion might be slightly unpopular or controversial, but when you reach maps, in my opinion, Arch Nemesis are mostly fine. I mean, it's hard to say before League Start, because at League Start they were fucked. But now when I'm mapping, of course I have gear. Mostly this is okay. There are some annoying one like lightning mirages that keep spamming you like crazy, or heralding minions, magma barrier, you know which ones. They're annoying as fuck, but not as much, and you can mostly deal with them fast enough when you get somewhat good damage. My problem is some of the combo. Like I saw this league mostly before the first patches, some Arch Nemesis monsters that I couldn't kill because they had like consecrated ground and rejuvenating, or pretty high physical damage reduction with rejuvenating, which means I could never out damage the region. That is Pepega, but they lowered the physical damage reduction and other reduction from the mods, so which means you can more or less deal with it. My big problem with Arch Nemesis is when they are combined with essence monsters, beasts, or both. That is so bad. Like more often than not, I steamroll the map, I one-shot every pack, the boss dies quickly, crack an essence open, I hit like crazy, I just keep whacking, and I die. So I need to whack, dodge, whack, dodge, and sometimes I even die. Or for whatever reason, sometimes there's 6 essences, you open it, and the essence monster dies in like 2 seconds. Don't know why that I am not a fan of. I said it before, I say it again. My opinion, Essence and Base should not have Arc Nemesis mods. They're special enough. So that I have a problem with, and I will probably have a problem with for as long as it is a thing. Some I can't even get close enough. Like I play melee, I play Bone Shatter this league, and I can hit from pretty far away even though I'm melee, and more often than not, I can't get close enough to hit before risking dying. Because I fully spec into essences, so they're more dangerous, and when there's a 3 king, there's 2. Of course, that's making them more rippy, but still, it shouldn't be like 10 times harder than the map boss. So that I don't like that. And if we take a look at what they're saying here, in Delft, heralding minions are too punishing. 100% right, because you can't flee as much as you want because it's narrow and the side paths are in darkness, and so if you don't have any more thing to make the light, then you're fucked. I agree, and it hits hard, so removing that from Delve is good. Arc Nemesis, modifiers that convert rewards to quality currency and flask feel bad. Yes and no. In my opinion, this is amazing like the first few days of the league, because you can stack up on scraps and whetstones and all your flasks you need, but once that's done, I agree this is bad. And the quality currency ones, I got 1 stack of bauble and 1 stack of chisel, once only. So I'd rather than change that and let me pick up scraps and whetstones the way we were picking them before. I don't mind that. We don't need as many as that. And the flask one, again, I play SSF, I don't feel it is as bad. It's not the best one, but like there's a recipe with the granite flask. You vendor your weapon that has flat physical damage with a granite flask and an orb of augmentation, and it's gonna increase the tier of the flat fizz. It's removing every other mod, so you do that only when the augment or the regal went bad. And you can upgrade that up to tier 2, so for crafting they're pretty useful. So this league, since crafting is shit, well, mostly shit, I'm happy with that, because I can get a bunch of granite flasks and use them. But I agree it's not the best one, but quality currency, leave it as is for the first 2 days of the league and then change it. That's the only thing I could say, but to be fair, they should be giving something more like stacks of divines, tropium. Then they're discussing that, yeah, lower variance, but fewer bigger spikes, like I said before. I agree with that. Hopefully it's gonna be done well. Hopefully they won't nerf the spikes and barely buff the normal rewards. And there's monsters apparently that cannot drop items. They will have fewer Arc Nemesis mods. That's good, I say. I mean, I don't see what monsters cannot drop items, but just remove them from the game, I don't know. And permanent marks, I've never noticed that. Maybe that's why I died a few times, I don't know, so I can't really comment on that. And the rest I pretty much covered in my notes, so again, let me know down in the comments down below what you think about this post and the current state of the game. I know most people, I say most, but a lot of people are disappointed, but I still have fun playing the game. It's just not as fun as it was last league, and I'm starting to burn out more quickly than usual. Now I'm at the state where I'm gonna try to kill some bosses, like start farming conquerors and guardians to then farm bosses, and once this is done, if I don't find any interesting items, I might just quit for the league. If not, then I might reroll and try a meme build, but yeah, it's so much more work, I don't feel incentivized to keep playing. So hopefully they're gonna address that. Hopefully they're gonna see my video and they're gonna take my feedback into account. So share the video if you want to help, and again, comment down below your opinion on the league, on my video. Am I wrong? Am I right? Do you hate me? Do you like me? Do you like my long lost hair? Anything. And thanks for watching, and I'm gonna see you in the next video.